So, Adrienne, very good to have you with me this morning. We've been watching this since last night. Maybe just describe that moment when it was kind of filtering out, the jubilation that we have seen, and what you've been seeing there and how you've been assessing the reaction since.
Sure. Hi, good morning, Heather. I think a couple of things to keep in mind. Sometimes there are rhythms to the way negotiations work. For example, we know in Egypt they would have a morning session where they would talk, and then they'd break for lunch, and they'd have an afternoon session, and then they'd break for dinner. So around, I guess it was closer to like 10 o'clock last night, local time, they broke for dinner. So the feeling then was like, okay, things are basically done for the night. If things go according to the normal procedure, we will hear in the morning. But nothing is normal in this moment, because it was very clear from the very beginning that if this was going to work, all efforts would be made to allow Donald Trump to take the credit that he craves, and many here argue he absolutely deserves. So the second you saw Marco Rubio in the White House pass a note to Donald Trump, it was very clear that whatever timeline fit a typical timeline, you could throw it out the window, that he was going to do everything he could to rush it. And in some ways, his announcement of a deal with Benjamin Netanyahu, or the framework of a promise, was also making it so by declaring it's happened. So his rush to get on Truth Social last night just ramped everything up very quickly. It was only after Donald Trump took credit, explained what had happened, that people then heard from Benjamin Netanyahu. And it was the middle of the night, Heather. It was sort of, I guess, 2, 3, 4, 5 a.m. as all of this was emerging. It's a holiday here, Sukkot. We were live doing the show, and there were people on a balcony across from us who were wondering what we were doing, and then we were explaining the news to them, and they were sort of cheering over there. And you got a sense that news was trickling very, very quickly. And the hugs started happening here at the homes of hostage families, and they have been close before. Remember, on that second hostage release, there were some families who thought their loved ones were going to come home. We saw pictures of Aviatar David and Guy, who were in a car in Gaza thinking they were about to be released. Then they watched their friends get released, and then they were returned to the tunnels for another 10 months. So you can appreciate there's some hesitation, but a feeling today it's absolutely happening. There's someone dressed up as Donald Trump wandering around here getting all sorts of hugs from people. So that should give you a sense of what's going on. He's been invited, by the way, to speak at Hostage Square, as well as at the Knesset. So if he does indeed come here on Sunday, you can expect an absolute love fest for Donald Trump.
That will be really something to see, and as he said, he's planning to be there and probably work for that already underway. In this first phase, Adrienne, we know what this calls, of course, the release of all the hostages, the pulling back of Israeli troops to some agreed-upon line, also this surge of aid into Gaza for the people who need it so desperately. But before that to begin, it all has to go through the Israeli cabinet, the Israeli government. So what are the timelines that you're watching for now?
Good question. So you're looking at a cabinet meeting today. Is it 2 o'clock, which is within the hour? Is it 5 o'clock? We're still waiting for confirmation of that. Likud, Benjamin Netanyahu's party, certainly has a majority in the cabinet. So no one is expecting that this won't pass. But will this cabinet meeting be a moment for the people on the far right who have propped up his government but have hated the idea of making a deal that sees Israel withdraw? Is this a moment for them to make themselves heard and drag out the conversation and perhaps try to throw some wrenches in the works? The mood in the country suggests that no one wants them to do that, but their political base may want to at least hear them do that. So wait for that to happen, the official stamp, if you will, then start the 72-hour clock, effectively. So that puts you at Monday. Monday evening is the end of the holiday of Sukkot. Benjamin Netanyahu had promised that the hostages would come out over the holiday period. So Simchat Torah, which is Monday night, that is the night they are counting on at the very latest here.
Speaking of Netanyahu, it was interesting to read his statement in the immediate aftermath. He called this first phase, this agreement, a diplomatic success and a national and moral victory for the state of Israel. But as you have reported on so often, as have we, he has faced serious criticism from hostage families. Certainly some of those in the Knesset have opposed any deal with Hamas, the hard right part of his coalition. What is waiting for him politically when this actually does take hold, Adrienne?
Oh, so much is waiting for him. I'm looking at a courthouse now where his corruption trial is waiting for him. One of the things that the families will tell you often is that they have been begging for a commission of inquiry since this happened. There were monumental failures on the part of the Israeli military and intelligence in having this happen in the first place and then in the response to it. Everything from not listening to the spotters the night of October 6th who reported to their commanders that something was up along the border, including approving the Nova Festival at a very high level, but not relaying that information to the ground troops. It took the troops hours to get to the Nova Festival. We spoke to a survivor who was running for his life and got a call from his commander asking him to deploy to the music festival because there was trouble. And he was saying, I know there's trouble. I'm trying not to die here. So incredible communications failures, a complacency reality failure there. They knew Hamas had been training for this. Hamas had been posting videos on the training for this. Why wasn't it taken more seriously? Why wasn't something done? These questions have been coiled like cobras ready to strike in this country, but they've been holding off until they see the hostages come home. When they are home, be prepared for the serious questions to start getting asked and serious accountability for Benjamin Netanyahu and how all of this has unfolded.
Adrienne, thank you very much. Our chief correspondent, Adrienne Arsenault, there for the anniversary on Tuesday and here for such a significant breaking news moment on this Thursday. And watch for Adrienne through the day and on the National tonight.